Assalamualaikum and very good morning. Welcome to my class mth3500 computer programming in mathematics. I have uploaded all the notes into the Putra Blast. Okay, so for this very introductory lecture on the programming, let me introduce something that I think you already know. Alright, the basic hardware component of the computer. So we have keyboard as an input devices. We have CPU. We have monitor, printer, pen drive. Alright. You can read all these things. It's not really difficult. I'm also not going to ask you in the exam. And we have a brief history of C and so on and so forth. I'm not going to stress on that. And why do we the use of C? I think you can read that things. The thing that you need to know is that how to write a C program, how to use the compiler that I already asked you to download into your system, and how to execute the C program. So basically, in executing the C program, we write a C program. Given a problem, you need to understand the problem, write this problem step by step how to solve it, and then you write a C program. Having done that, you need to compile. Okay, you have to go to the second part. You need to compile, and then you need to link, and then you need to execute the program. All these things will be done by the compiler. You just need to press the button and everything. Okay, so that's just introductory. Don't worry, I think you still don't understand right now. It's okay. And all those you can find in the notes. Yeah, what is editing, what is not that clear, right? But okay, no worry. Editing, what is compiling, what is linking, executable file, and so on. So what is a bit quite important that you might need to know, where I will stress on that, is how to write a flowchart. Okay, that we call it a flowchart. What is flowchart? A flowchart. What is flowchart? Okay, the thing is like this. Given a problem, you are given a problem. First thing, you're given a problem. Given a problem. Given a problem means you have a problem that need to be solved. Okay, you have a problem that needs to be solved. I give you an example. Let's say you are given three numbers, ABC. From these given numbers ABC, we need to find the largest value or smallest value. Anything else, you can add up those three values. So all those are problems. Okay, all those are problems. If we want to find, for example, what is the sum of those A, B, C, what is the solution? If you put in computer, then you just write A, B, C like that. The computer will give you nothing. You won't get anything. Alright, so in order to solve this, in order to change this into code, programming code, you need to write what is step-by-step process in order to solve those problems. Okay, those step-by-step process, and then we transform into a symbol, a kind of symbol that we give us what we call as a flowchart. Okay, So before I go detail on that example or that problem, let me introduce you some of the symbol that we use in order to develop a flowchart. Okay. All the symbol again given in the notes. Please refer to your notes. First, the flowchart begin with start and end with ends. So the symbol we use is kind of ellipse like that. It's not really a circle. Alright. And then I'll give you example later on how to use all the symbols. We use this symbol for process. Okay. For process. This is for the document. This is decision. Normally we use if statement. Then we use that symbol. Okay. And this is if you want to input the data or print the outputs. Yeah. Out of that process, you have the outputs, you have the results. So we use that symbol. And this normally we use for the if you have you don't have enough space in one page, for example, you need to continue, then we use that symbol, circle. And then this is the flow line to show from which step to another steps. And we have delay, we have merge, and we have this is for the subroutine. Okay, some of the guideline that you might need to know in drawing the flow charts. First thing, given the problem that I mentioned earlier, given the problem, you have to list out the step need to be used, to be taken in order to solve the problem, step by step, in order, in logical order. Okay, and it must be clear and easy to follow. And direction must be correct, and only one direction. You can see here we can have one input and one output. You cannot have 2 or 3 or something like that. We don't have that. Okay, now this is the basic example of the flow chart. Okay, basic example of the flow chart. We begin with starts, end with ends. Okay, and this is the process. Now the choice or decision that we need to make. The decision here, for example, if normally we use statement if A greater than B. If yes, it goes in that direction. If no, it goes the other direction. So if A greater than B, so that gives you a choice to make. Alright, you have to make a decision. A greater than B, is it correct or is it not? Okay, given two numbers A, B, we want to determine which one is bigger. Alright, so A, the statement is A greater than B. Is A greater than B? So that's a statement. So whether yes or no. So normally that kind of statement or choice that asks you to make a decision, so we use that symbol. Alright, and then we have action or whatever process that we need to do there. In this case, another choice. Then out of that we have a process, then we end the process. Now let me give you an example. Here we need to draw a flowchart. Look at this example. We need to draw a flowchart to find the sum of first 50 natural numbers. Okay, Understand those. Find the sum of the first 50 natural numbers. So in this example, so what we want to do is, we want to find what is the sum of this 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4 and so on up to 50. What is this? Now out of this, how are you going to do this? Okay, ask yourself, how are you going to do this? If you write this 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4 plus 5 up to 50, you put it in the C code, you press enter, it won't go anywhere. It won't give you the solution. Now, so that's what we call it. We need a process, step-by-step process. So in this case, if you can see 1 and 2 and 3, that's kind of counter. You count it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, you count it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So what you need to do here in this case, what happened here is that we add up first two terms. We got whatever result is, and those results, say here in this case 3, okay, and those results we add up with the next terms. You got 6, you add up with the next term, you got 10, and the process gone until 50. Okay, so what you need here is you need a counter. Let's call that you need a counter. You need a counter. What else you need? You need the summation between this, summation with that, summation. So we need to give a name to that sum. So let's call that sum, we call it sum. Okay? So now what is the process we need to do? Of course, we start with start. Number 2 is we need to give the value for sum. We set the value 0 at the beginning, so it's look like 0 and then plus 1 you got 1, 1 plus 2 you got 3, 2 plus 3 you got 5, and so on and so forth. And then you need counter. Okay, so we set counter, those counter to 0. Okay, and then what's next? We need to count that number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we have counter is equal to counter plus 1. Counter plus 1. So what happened here? Counter we set to 0. So this value is 0. 0 plus 1, that give you 1. So you give you first number here, 1. Okay. So this, I would say this is old value. This is new value. New value. What does it mean, old and new value? Old value, take the value of the previous line. So in this case, counter is 0. So new value is after this process has been done. So means 0 plus 1 is 1. Now counter has the value 1. It's override the previous value. Now instead of 0, now counter got the value 1. Next. Now counter now 1. 1 plus 1, you got 2. Alright, so we have the value 2. Now new value for counter now is 2. So we have 2. Next, now counter now has value 2. 2 plus 1, you got 3. Now you got 3 here. And then now 3 plus 1, you got 4. 4 plus 1, you got 5. And the process carry on. Then what is the next step is? Next step is you need to do the summation. Summation, how we do the summation? Summation is equal to the old value, which is 0, old value, we plus the counter. So what happened here? When counter equal to 0, counter plus 1, which is 0 plus 1, you got 1. So the value of counter now is 1. Okay, sum is 0. So sum is 0 plus counter is 1. So 0 plus 1 is 1. So sum have a value 1 now. Okay, now next step, now counter is 1. 1 plus 1 is 2. Now counter has a value 2. We come down here. Previously we have sum equal to 1. 1 plus 2, that gives you 3. Now sum has the value 3. And the process carry on until you got counter equal to 50. So you can see here this sum has the value 1, 3, 6, 10 and so on and so forth. Now having done that, we need to print. We need to print out the outputs. Alright. Print the value sum, and then we end the process. So this is the step-by-step process that we need to do in order to evaluate the first 50 natural numbers. In order to evaluate the sum of the first 50 natural numbers. Now in terms of flowcharts, how to write those things? How can we transform that step-by-step process here into the flowchart? We begin with starts. So we have here start, that. Okay. Next, we give the value sum, we give the value counter. So next, there's a process. So we give the value sum equal to 0, then counter equal to 0. Next process, what is it? Next process, we have sum, counter. Now counter is counter plus 1. So next process is you have counter is equal to counter plus 1. Okay, look at the step here. We have counter plus 1. Then we have sum plus counter. Another process here. Sum equal to sum plus counter. Now we need to check. Okay, we need to check either counter has achieved 50 or not. So in this case, we need to check. You need to check. Okay, counter greater than 50. If it greater than 50, if it equal to 50, it still counts. 51 is out of that loop. Okay, so if not, it goes back here. That. If no. If yes, this is yes, then we need to print the output. Print sum. Then end the process. Now, do you understand this thing? Okay, let me repeat this. We begin with the start, and then we give the value sum, and we give the value initial value for the counter. For the summation, we give the initial value 0. Now we have counter plus 1. Then next step is sum plus that counter. Now for this, we need to count. Here counter is 1. Counter is 0. 0 plus 1 is 1. Now counter has a value 1. Sum 0. 0 plus 1 you got 1. So sum is equal to 1. Here counter you got value counter is 1. Alright, from there. So 1 is greater than 50? No, it's not. So we need to go again and do the process. Counter is 1, 1 plus 1, now counter value is 2. Sum, previously you have sum equal to 1, 1 plus 2 that give you 3. Now counter, now sum has a value 3 now. Counter now, the value of counter is 2, 2 is greater than 50? No. Now it's go up, add 1 more, so counter got 3. Sum previously got 3, 3 plus 3, 6. Now sum have a value 6. Now counter 3, 3 greater than 50? No. Going up again. Now counter become 4. 6 plus 4 become 10. And then this process carry on until counter got 50, 50 greater than 50. Now you're going up there, counter now 50. Now 51. Now we need equal, I think here. We need equal. So if equal to 50, now when counter is equal to 50, yes, then the process end. You give sum and end the process. Okay, I think I stop here for this example. Yes, for this video. The next video I'll give you another example. Okay, so for now, thank you.